across Australia and around the world on BRIMBANK Live FM, Sonya and Sasha, for real.
Welcome back to BRIMBANK Live and Live FM. Thank you for listening to the Sonya and Sasha for Real show every Friday, 12 to 1. We love this time of the week. It's our highlight. It's our excitement, isn't it, Sasha? It's away from the homeschooling and the silliness of this COVID that we're all experiencing at the moment.
And do you know what? Because we're actually experiencing all of that stuff, we need to have our self-esteem boosted right up. We all need a little bit of empowerment. We all need to feel good. We all need to be able to set some goals and see where we're going. So we've got a guest right from New York. So we're going to now have our beautiful segment, which is our favorite segment of all time, the New York Minute.
It's about that time for a New York Minute with Sonya and Sept.
Yeah, it's about that. Did you hear? We've got our New York accent in the back there. That's Brooklyn. That is Brooklyn in the house. We've got Big Zoe, a.k.a. Mr. Empowerment King, Mr. Street Roots Entertainment. There's a whole lot of AKAs there. Welcome, Zoe. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. You know, with my two faves all the way out in Australia. You know, I love you guys. So, yeah, there's a lot of AKs now. You know, we leveling up. So, you know, we going from Brooklyn's Big Zoe to Mr. Street Roots, now the Empowerment King. So that's the new brand.
What name do you give when you take your dry cleaning? That's what I want to be able to know. What do you say? Like, you know, they just ask you your first name and you say, hey, I'm the Empowerment King. What name do you use? You use Empowerment King at the dry cleaner?
Just Zoe. I just use Zoe.
just Big Zoe.
Yeah.
So you have a comedy series that you've been running in New York for a long time now, and then COVID hits all of a sudden, and we're not doing live events anymore. So you pivoted, that's the key word right now, isn't it? You've pivoted, you've turned the corner, and you've decided to do something that's actually really interesting, and you've had some incredible guests. And our lovely Sasha was one of the guests on one of your empowerment conferences recently. So tell us about what the whole concept is and what you aim to do with it.
Yeah, so I always say the pandemic has been a curse and a gift for me, you know, and it's been actually one of the biggest blessings in my life, so to speak, in a weird way, because yes, I have been running a comedy production since 2012. And in 2019 is when I decided to put together an empowerment summit. So I figured this was my calling because I've always been the connector, the conduit, the bridge, the liaison, helping folks throughout my career, my life, and being that resource for people and helping them get to their goals and achieving their next steps. So the light bulb finally hit me, and I said, you know what? A conference or a summit is where I'm able to bring all of my resources and connections and relationships under one roof, along with the audience who's always reaching out to me for resources and connections to somebody. And I said, this is what I should have been doing. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I can make this happen easy. So I just need a venue, and we'll start doing it and doing tours and stuff. So I was actually supposed to have the debut of the Empowerment Summit in collaboration with our mutual associate, Miss Rolanda Telesford, at the Brooklyn YWCA. So we was going to launch it there at their theater, and then COVID hit. So when COVID hit, you know, I'm not the type to just sit home and I'm a creative. So I thought, what can I do to find, you know, a different inner genius to make something, you know, happen along the lines of the Empowerment Summit. So I said, what I'll do is I'll start interviewing one by one the panelists and guests that I plan on having at the conference, so people can see who my relationships and network really is, because everybody know, Zoe, they always say Zoe knows everybody, you know, just talk to Zoe, you know everybody, but they never knew who that everybody was. So now I created the IG Live Quarantine Empowerment Summit, and they started seeing all of the different industry professionals, celebrities, actors, NBA players, NFL players, vice presidents, you know, people from all walks of life, filmmakers, you know, and I started getting tremendous feedback, and people was just saying, wow, you got some really good substance going on your platform and how you put it together. and you're doing really well with it. So me, I never looked at it like I was the guy I'm never the person that likes to be in front of the camera. And this was something that people started looking at me as like somebody that needs to be in front of the camera. So when I heard it after the sixth time, I said, maybe I better start taking a closer look at this. And because I was just having fun with it and just, doing what I do. But people was telling me like, yo, you really need to, take this serious and look at what you're doing because you're doing really well. So I took it into consideration to the point where, long story short, just to fast forward, it has me in a situation now where even you guys didn't know that I'm actually getting ready to be like fully syndicated and dealing with like iHeartRadio and major platforms and levels that I'm getting ready to sign the contract this week, in regards to all of those things. So A-list marketing, PR, and media company is getting behind me as my machine. And this is all happening as we speak, starting like this weekend into next week. So it became a big deal for me and the biggest blessing of my life to put me in position of where I wanted to be. Not necessarily in front of the cameras where I was thinking of being, but it put me in that position to be able to do that to make a bigger impact overall. So I embraced it and I'm enjoying it. So I look forward to it.
You're absolutely correct, Zoe, because we have walked down the street with you so many times and we've been at a restaurant and there's been people that have come in and you're like, oh, he knows Zoe and this one knows Zoe. And, these are the big American names. I mean, not necessarily people that we would know because, I wouldn't know every, basketball player or football player or anyone, but we've certainly been around you. We do know that you have this incredible network of people and you also have an ability to bring everyone together. What are some of the things that you've learned personally about empowerment from all of your guests?
Well, what I've learned personally is that we all have like-minded characteristics, and traits when it comes to the grind and being in, I'm not going to just say this industry, but just it's a lot of things that's just relative that I love about how everybody grinds. It's the perseverance, the dedication. I call it the 3Ds. People having that dedication. The burning desire to get things done. The determination. And just the perseverance and resilience to getting to where you want to be. And I love that about everybody. And one of the things I wanted to concentrate on when I did the interviews was having the people who I interviewed really talk about from day one, their actual grind and transition from whatever they went through and however they came up, what triggered them to pursue the lane that they were interested in going into and how they actually became successful in that arena that they got without just generalizing it like how we read in the bio. I wanted them to say the actual grind, like, 10 doors got slammed in my face. I used to take 30 trains to get to this meeting, and then they told me no. And then I had to meet this person, and then that person had me call this person, and I went through this hoop and that hoop, like the real grind, because that's the thing that people really don't talk about a lot is exactly like just being really transparent about the actual grind, what it really took. Because I always tell people on the platform, it's not as glamorous as you think it is. You guys only see the end results most of the time. You don't see me making 100 calls or me having to follow up with everybody just to get them to do like a 30-second promo video or but it's so many people I have to call to get things done. And it's just not easy, but it doesn't feel like work or I'm nagging or this, that, and the third, because at the end of the day, they understand what the grind is about. They understand you trying to do what you need to do to get your project going, and they respect that. So I don't feel any kind of way. I don't feel like I'm ever bothering somebody, and at the end of the day, they just respect your grind. But to answer your question, I just love those same characteristics and traits and being with those like-minded individuals, and you learn a lot from them as well. You learn a little bit from each person, different things, different nuggets, different jewels and then I just take all of them in collectively, things that drop on me, and I just become the messenger and just share it with everybody.
You know what? We've actually, that's why we call this show For Real, because that's exactly what Sonya and I do. We have to tell you for real, like all of those little hard things that we're done and, the grind and the working long hours that nobody else sees. And so things don't just get put onto your plate. So tell us, Who are some of the guests that are coming up in you? So you've got another one on the 3rd of October, is that correct? Or is it before then?
For us, it's the first. I believe it's the second for you guys.
Okay. So who have you got on this particular panel?
Right,
There's
so
somebody that we want to actually get I've already done some networking. This is the best part about it. I'm already sneaking who's on there, and you've got a former NYPD detective, which I think Sonya straight away went to Sonya and said, "Oh, we need to get this chick on our show." So who's on your panel for this one coming up? Because that's right. We're giving all of our listeners can join up to your empowerment conference, right?
Right, of course. And then I'll definitely recommend, the panelists that we have also for your show. And I know you guys will be in there and network the same thing, but they would love it, But yeah, so some of the panelists, this panel is really, really good. I mean, they all are pretty good. But we have Wendy Cradle. Thank you. Shout out to Wendy Cradle, who I have a soft spot for now, as she recently, rest in peace to Andre Harrell, who was her late ex-husband. They have a son together, so Wendy, Andre Harrell, to those that don't know, was president of Uptown Records, who started, Puff Daddy, Eddie, Heavy D, everybody came through Uptown Records,
Monica. Of course.
And so Wendy is an entertainment attorney. She represents people like Neo, Chris Brown, Stephanie Mills, a lot of singers and artists. And she's also a TV.
I love Neo. I've got a soft spot for Neo. Do you know what I mean?
That's some good behind the scenes information for anyone who's coming up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You need to hook us up with a bit of Neo.
Yeah, Wendy is the one. She's the plug. So she's also a TV producer, and I know she's producing the biopic for Uptown Records that's coming out on BET here next year as well. And she's also an author also. So we have Wendy Cradle. Then we have Miss Queen Yonazda, who's Louis Farrakhan's granddaughter. She was on BET's Cop Watch America. She's an activist, motivational speaker, and author as well. Then we have who Sasha was just talking about, Cynthia Cordero, who's a retired NYPD detective and a life coach and author also. But her bio is crazy. I don't know if you saw her bio, Sasha, but wait till you guys.
I've already stalked her.
Stories.
Amazing. You would have incredible stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know how she does all that she's done and what she's doing and continues to do. And that's women empowerment. A true example of women empowerment. Then we have a longtime friend of mine since 2013 from Sydney, Australia. From you guys home, Lena Kasparian, the celebrity fashion designer. So she dresses a lot of people over here as well on the red carpets, Grammys, and big award shows like Tyra Banks, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and stuff like that. So Lena's doing her story is incredible too, dealing with domestic violence and stuff like that to the point where she defended herself, and the result of that, her husband was died actually, and she was able to overcome that, and she never got charged for anything.
Fascinating story.
It was in self-defense, and then she bounced out of that. And she wrote a book as well after that I think it's called 14mm, and then became this huge celebrity fashion designer after that.
Wow, amazing stories there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Her story is crazy. And then Ife Charles is also on the panel, and then Dr. Stacey NC Grant, who's another powerful young lady who she actually received in 2016, the 2016 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for her volunteer services from our 44th President Obama, Barack Obama.
Oh my goodness! Wow, this is amazing, Zoe. This is incredible. You're going to have, and we've listened to this, and you scroll through, scroll through your Instagram, Zoe, and there's pictures of you with Forrest Whitaker and Tyson Beckford, and you were talking last time we were there about meetings with Spike Lee, and you've always represented us beautifully when we're over there, and it's a credit to you that you're uplifting these women. It's important that we hear women's stories, that we hear the struggles that we go through, because oftentimes it's harder for us to get up there and to get our information and our greatness.
Right.
Getting our stories out there, just
women.
Stories on how hard we've actually had to work. So, Mr. Empowerment King, can you please tell us how people can actually join up to this? How do they get in contact with you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so the best,
they
the
just
best
need to
way-
register on Eventbrite, is that
the
right?
best way right now, the link is in my bio on my IG page, which is at Street Roots Entertainment, Roots with a Z. And I don't want to forget the other special guest who's on the platform that's going to be there, which is Jamel Howard. He's an actor who's on Power, Marvel, Luke Cage, All Eyes on Me, Tupac's movie, and The Purge as well. So I always like to have a male figure there as well to show that we do have men as well that's supporting the women and being behind the women. So that's why I wanted to create this platform to consistently, on a consistent basis, to do women empowerment, because this is like the time for that right now, and women is being heard, all over right now. So I wanted to do that and always have a male figure. But yeah, so IG Street Roots Entertainment is fine to find where you can register for the Women Empowerment Conference, and the link is in the bio, like I said. Or
amazing. Thank you, Zoe. We're so happy that you came onto the show today, and everybody can join. Go through Street Roots Entertainment and click on the link, and you can actually get yourself into that empowering event and feel really good about yourself and listen to these incredible women's stories.
I'll leave
in New York, it's a nighttime event, but yet in Australia, it's the morning. So we can all have breakfast and have a coffee and watch you guys have a wine at this incredible event.
We inspire, we empower, inspire, motivate. But I like to say that successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And where you are today is a result of the choices that you made in the past, and where you will be tomorrow is a result of the choices that you make today. And then I'll see you all at the top, because the bottom is overcrowded. Thank you.
Hey, Big Zoe. All right. Thank you so much for coming to us from the Zoom room in New York City for our New York Minute. We'll see you after the break. You've been listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. This is Sonya and Sasha for real. Thanks, Big Zoe.
Shout out to Sonya and Sasha for real radio. Thank you guys for having me. Love you.
Sonya and Sasha, for real.